What happens when red squirrels are isolated on small islands? Do they become mutants with extra legs or extra tails? Or does something else occur genetically? Populations need diversity to evolve and adapt, but inbreeding can lead to serious problems. So what happens to red squirrels in tiny, isolated populations? Today I'm heading to the Isle of Wight to find out. The Isle of Wight is an island off the coast of England. It's known for its beaches and is a popular tourism spot. But whilst on the ferry, I spoke with a conservation geneticist to get some insight into these unique island red squirrels.
I'm Emilie Hardouin, I'm a conservation geneticist. We are studying and helping the conservation of red squirrels living in the south of England. They only live in 3 different islands, the Isle of Wight, the Bronzy and Furzy, while small populations are always at risk of inbreeding. And basically what we're looking at the population viability on the Isle of Wight, and we try to investigate the risk of extinctions.
Emilie's research raises some fascinating questions about how isolation impacts these squirrels. Now it's time to see for myself. Today is our first day on the Isle of Wight, and of course we're going to go and find some red squirrels. It didn't take long before I was surrounded by red squirrels, and they are very used to people. There are about 3,300 red squirrels on the Isle of Wight, and there are actually 2 isolated populations that are genetically unique, one in the east and one in the west. These populations are isolated due to the woodlands being fragmented, which limits the movement of squirrels across the island. And this has led to limited genetic flow between the 2 groups. We've just spent 2 hours photographing the red squirrels in this small woodland, and we have 4 individuals. There was this really pretty, bright coloured female. There were 4 females, and some of them were lactating, which probably means that they had 2 litters of kittens this year, or kits, and this is the second litter. Next, I'm meeting Helen Butler, a true champion of red squirrel conservation. Helen founded the White Squirrel Project, a volunteer-led initiative that monitors and protects the island squirrels population.
I'm Helen Butler, and I founded and run White Squirrel Project in the Isle of Wight Red Squirrel Trust. I'd lived on the Isle of Wight for most of my life, and then in 1991 I joined the British Trust for Conservation Volunteers. They wanted someone to go around the island picking up used hazelnuts to see which animals had eaten them. And we actually found that there were far fewer squirrels than we anticipated. But if you think about it, we had those huge hurricanes and that had decimated the trees, so numbers had gone right down. I founded White Squirrel Project, and it's mostly about monitoring. The Isle of Wight is nationally important stronghold for red squirrels. It's got that stretch of water, protects us from invasion by the grey squirrel. Though saying that, occasionally one will sneak onto a boat, as it did back in the 70s. Luckily it was noticed, and they wouldn't bring the boat over until they'd caught and sent the grey squirrel back. Postman did tell me one time they opened the back of the van, and in the side was not only the letters but a grey squirrel. We have to be very careful the whole time. We have been doing genetic studies. They've actually got 2 unique strains in their DNA, which makes it all the more important to sort of keep them here, keep this population, because it is quite precious to red squirrel conservation.
What's behind you, Helen?
Hey, red squirrel.
Yay! We've managed to see about 6 red squirrels this morning already. It's been fascinating speaking to Helen, and we'll go for a bit of a walk to see if we can find any more red squirrels. Compared to other places I've visited, these small islands don't have the constant pressure of grey squirrels. Helen's work has been very important in safeguarding the red squirrels on the Isle of Wight. But the project's success also relies on the passion and dedication of volunteers. We've come to a red squirrel hide now, and we're going to meet a volunteer called John, and he's going to tell us a bit about his volunteer work.
My name is Dr. John Fishman. I'm a volunteer for the Isle of Wight Red Squirrel Trust. Along with my wife, we both give speeches for the Red Squirrel Trust, talk to the community to teach them how to help protect the red squirrels, how to feed the red squirrels, how to create an environment in their gardens and in their community that is habitable for the red squirrels. Public awareness helps with our conservation efforts. Personal motive is just helping the environment, and part of that is just taking care of one small piece of it, which is the red squirrels. That they're funny, they're entertaining, they're a beautiful animal, and we just really enjoy the work.
It's been amazing learning from Helen and John about the vital role the Isle of Wight plays in preserving the genetics of British red squirrels. But what's surprising is that despite the isolation of these populations, there hasn't been any noticeable genetic mutations. Perhaps I need to explore an even smaller island. So I'm doing just that. Brownsea is a small island with only 200 red squirrels. It is very small. Brownsea is situated in Poole Harbour and no one lives on the island full time. I'm very curious to see what we'll find. So we've just arrived to Brownsea Island. Well, I'm still on the boat. I have no idea if we're going to find red squirrels. I don't know if they're easy to find, difficult, but the entire island is managed by the National Trust, and there's no cars, it's just a few buildings and squirrels, hopefully. We've literally just arrived to the island, and I think I've seen a red squirrel. Yes! Tripod. We were quickly surrounded by busy red squirrels. It's autumn and the squirrels are busy collecting food and caching it into the ground. This is how they survive winter. They'll also gain around 20 to 30% of their body weight. Within about 20 minutes of walking onto the island, we were surrounded by 4 red squirrels, and they are very comfortable around people. I wouldn't say they're tame, they don't climb up your leg, they don't chase people for food, but they just run around you. They're currently collecting sweet chestnuts and then burying them into the ground. These small islands are so unique because there are only between 200 and 250 red squirrels here, so you have to question whether there's a bit of a genetic bottleneck. Since there aren't many red squirrels, there's a high chance that they're quite related, but clearly they have been here for a long time, they're doing well, and numbers are stable. I had one red squirrel come up to a stump and I left some cob nuts and it kept coming and going, and it was a male red squirrel and he even crawled into my rucksack. No, not there. No. No, that's my lens. Stop biting the box. That's my lens. No. And he happily collected them all, cashed them into the ground, and he kept coming and going, and it was quite funny. The squirrels on Brownsea Island seem perfectly normal despite their isolation. It's surprising that low genetic diversity doesn't appear to affect them at all. But has Emilie found anything in her research?
It looks like even though it's a small populations and they genetically, they are not as diverse as they would be on the continent, but that's something we expect. It looks like the population is actually thriving on the Isle of Wight. There is no observable genetic mutations that we can see on the red squirrels. Sometimes I know that people will find that when inbreeding is really high, and you will have, a physical manifestations of this inbreeding. But at the moment, we don't see it at all. So that's actually quite a good news.
So there's no mutant squirrels?
There is no mutant squirrels.
Okay, that's good. After exploring these islands, talking to experts, volunteers, it's clear to me that even though these squirrels face limited genetic diversity, they're fine. Nothing is wrong with them. There's no mutants, and they've adapted surprisingly well. These islands are crucial for red squirrel conservation in the UK. They act as safe havens from threats like the grey squirrel, but they're also a genetic pool for the true British red squirrel. Protecting these populations preserves the uniqueness of the red squirrels and ensures their survival for future generations. I thought I'd take this opportunity to tell you about Planet Wild. I'm currently balancing on this tree, so I hope I can stay balanced. Planet Wild are connecting nature protection projects around the world that need funding to nature enthusiasts like you and me. Every month, Planet Wild selects a new project aimed at protecting animals, forests, and oceans. They document these missions on monthly YouTube videos. The videos literally show where your contribution is going. All of Planet Wild's work is made possible by a community of nature enthusiasts. Bundling up resources can really help achieve a lot. There are already over 9,000 members, including myself. I support Planet Wild because I think they're offering something really fun and unique. It's easy to get involved and you get a return. See the impact of Planet Wild in their latest video. They're turning a barren desert in Kenya into a biodiverse ecosystem. The link is in the description if you want to check it out. Supporting Planet Wild and making a difference to the planet is not expensive. For double the price of a coffee, you can join the Planet Wild community. And as a fun little welcome gift, Planet Wild are actually giving 150 free memberships. Scan the QR code or go to the link in the description. The code is DANI10 and the first 150 get a free 1-month membership. But you can watch the latest mission on YouTube now. I hope you enjoyed following along this adventure, finding the island red squirrels, but I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.